We all know that for years and years, Manchester United has always had a midfield problem ever since Michael Carrick, our current interim manager, retired under Sir Alex Ferguson. We haven't necessarily had someone that is good defensively, but also someone that can do the job offensively. Now, yes, through the years, we've gone through a few players, some young, some old, but in the end, they never ended up being good enough or what is exactly required for a Manchester United central midfielder. We leave Bruno Fernandes out of this conversation because he's an all rounder. We know what he has done for the club since he signed, and it's obvious he is much better higher up the pitch. You saw exactly how he was still able to put up the numbers that he does by playing in a deeper role under Ruben Amorim. But once moved forward into his natural position, he certainly exploded, and the team is much better for that. Now, everywhere I've looked, it's all about our line Tchouaméni, the Real Madrid central midfielder, defensive midfielder. He is a player of top quality. You watch him all the time when you watch Real Madrid play, and you see just how good he is. If you remember years ago, before he went to Real Madrid, we were in for him with his time at Monaco. We wanted to sign him, he was on the list, but we opted not to do so because he chose Real Madrid. And since he's been there, yes, in the early stages of his Madrid career, he had a bit of injuries that kept him out of the team, but he's been very, very consistent since then. He's been a very good player and an important player for Real Madrid, but also for the French national team. Him as a player potentially coming in certainly will boost Manchester United's midfield. It will help the team as a whole just because of who he is as a player and what he does with the ball, but more so without it. Now, for this to happen, there are certain things that need to fall into place. And this was reported by Simon Stone of The Telegraph. And just earlier today, Simon Peach as well also came out from the BBC and said that we are interested in signing Tchouaméni. And that is massive news because all the talk has been about Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton, Carlos Baliba, João Gomez of Wolves, etc. All these players that we know are good, but they're not world class quality like a Tchouaméni. They are not players that have lit up the Champions League, lit up international football. They are players who are now starting to show their stardom. Elliot Anderson might be number one in England in terms of what he does on the pitch, but he's no Tchouaméni. That is an obvious fact. And if Tchouaméni does choose to come to Manchester United, if we now officially make an approach, make an offer to Real Madrid, which is normal because transfers of players have always happened between United and Real Madrid, whether it's a player going from United to Real Madrid or vice versa. We've always been comfortable trading players. So I think this will be another topic of discussion come the end of the season. And yes, whoever the manager will be, that is also an important factor in terms of Tchouaméni choosing Manchester United. But with Casemiro leaving, with Ugarte potentially also being sold this summer, we do need a top midfielder to come in and play alongside Kobbie Mainoo. And what Tchouaméni will bring is certainly a platform for Kobbie Mainoo to be even more free than what he already is. Tchouaméni is not your Michael Carrick playing balls through the lines, looking to intercept passes. But he is very, very good at intercepting passes, very good at getting around the pitch, closing down players, stopping counter attacks. He's very, very good in terms of his aerial duels, quite physically strong, really, really tall. So he is able to play box to box as well, other than just being a sitting defensive midfielder screening the back four. We know that he can play as an emergency centre back, and God knows Manchester United are always in need of an emergency centre back. Just look at the game against Chelsea where Mazarawi had to come in and play at centre back. So that is another bonus for us, the fact that he can play in multiple positions. So for me, it's a yes. Tchouaméni must be a player that Man United must look to sign. Whether we get him and an Elliot Anderson, I don't think that will be the case. I think we most likely will get Tchouaméni and then see where we are at, see who's still available, because Real Madrid want Rodri from Manchester City, who's basically a like for like with Tchouaméni. And that is one of the things that needs to fall into place in order for us to get Tchouaméni from Real Madrid. If that does not happen, perhaps we still make an approach. He has said to be available for sale from Real Madrid. So news is developing. There is momentum with regards to this transfer. Will it happen? We can only wait and see. But it is exciting to talk about top players, world class players, potentially coming to Manchester United. If we want to compete at the top of the Premier League, if we want to go into the latter stages of the Champions League, we need top world class players. And not just for the first team, for the first 11, we need to have players that are able to start from the bench as well. So if changes are made, the level of quality doesn't drop. The level of intensity does not drop either. But these are things that will take time to come into its fruition. But this is the type of players we need to be signing. And that is what is good for Manchester United. We'll see what happens in terms of the managerial appointment. It has been reported by Alex Crook that by the end of the season, we will have already announced our permanent manager, and that's in a couple of weeks. So that is also very exciting, but also interesting. Basically, depending on who they bring in. Nagelsmann keeps being the name, the external name that is the number one choice for Manchester United. And of course, internally, it's Michael Carrick, with him currently already being in the job. So let's see what happens on that. Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are on Tchouaméni. Do you want him to come to United? Do you think a player of his quality will elevate Manchester United's midfield? And on the other end, what are your thoughts on Michael Carrick? Do you think he will be getting the permanent manager job? Let me know. Have a wonderful day further. Till we see each other again in the next one. Bye-bye, Red Devils. Thanks for watching. If you want more content on Manchester United, like, share and subscribe.